Good morning. Good morning. Here we are for the fourth day. Very exciting moment. Technology played a little bit on my soul this morning, but that's okay. Just here, and I'm very excited about the day. We had a couple speakers that came in late saying they would speak this morning, but we hopefully will have them on later. And we had one that didn't return my call. So we're just kind of playing the way that Torch Health is so exciting right now. We're in this turning point and we have an amazing speaker, Kurt Kruger, coming up. And let me tell you a little bit what has happened in this short couple days. As I drop in and I kind of lit the candle. Yesterday I got my Christmas tree with my grandkids. We picked the card inspiration yesterday and we're painting a picture and it's so beautiful. And Kurt was in the backyard here and he just disappeared. Not sure where he went. Let's hope he's coming back up. Maybe tech on that side. I just want to share as I drop into Torch Health how much so many have come, so many prayers have come. I'm putting on my sacred oil because that's keeping me afloat. It's been beautiful, beautiful frankincense smell for this beautiful holiday. We've got a really beautiful day ahead, and we've had also some deaths, which has been really sad. So I just wanted to share a couple of things with you. I'm so excited about how whatever comes up, there's a drop in for me. And there's been a lot of changes in the schedule, changes in the organizational, I would say technology. And we've had beautiful posters made and we've had beautiful backdrop of Actions of Impact. It should be streaming there, but I couldn't even get onto that this morning. It's been really beautiful to see people show up and say yes. We had amazing speakers, Katie and Shuni yesterday afternoon that were just rocking the house. And then Shawaz Baloch, we took a long break yesterday and came back and Shawaz Baloch topped us off last night, which was so beautiful. Kurt Kruger is an amazing man that does peak performance work, and he's a coach. Hello, Pravin. Pravin Patel's in the house on the other side. Thank you, Pravin. I want to be the Torch princess today. How's that? I want you to find a Torch queen. I really am blessed. Pravin keeps calling us kings and queens. Hi, Kasim, Ali. Nice to see you. Yeah, really entertain engagement today. We're just going to really open the house for a greater whole, a greater moment. Here's Kurt. Yay. All right. We've got Kurt in the house. Let's bring him up. It's 8 a.m. It's our time with our wonderful friend. He joined us. Hello. Hello, hello.
Hello.
Welcome, welcome. Awesome.
It's so good to be here.
I'll tell you my tech problem. My alarm didn't go off this morning and I woke up around 7 and I had asked somebody they could do 7, but they didn't get back to me before midnight. So I didn't think they were coming. And then they were waiting, and then I was like, oh. So it happens,
Yes, it does.
It happens. So anyway, hopefully a group from Pakistan will come on. We've had 2 bumps with them because of electric load too. So they, and then we had a couple of deaths this week. So I just want to drop you into where we've been. And to start the day, I always read Thich Nhat Hanh. Is that all right?
That's perfect. That's great.
Awesome.
I got to meet him a couple times.
Oh, awesome. I can't wait to hear about that. I love hearing your stories. Now, this is a storyteller of all times, this gentleman. He has stories to be heard. And Kurt, you joined us for Torch Peace. Now you're joining here. I'm so grateful because you're a powerhouse of a speaker and an entrepreneur, and you have so much wisdom, and I'm so excited to hear you. And the other night when we were doing the test practice, you should have everything streaming on your Facebook. Did you check?
I didn't check, no.
All right. You want to check right now, or do you want to listen first and then we'll check?
Well, let's see.
Should be on your Facebook. We should be streaming there. Let's hope.
Just reboot it, so to speak, in the Facebook page, and maybe that'll. There's Raheen is on. I don't see it. I see.
You don't see the live?
I don't see. I don't see us right now at all.
It says we're live. It usually tells us if we don't connect. It says you were live at.
Yeah, I see it. Yeah, you were down a bit in.
Oh, good, fantastic.
Yeah.
Yay, fantastic. All right, awesome. Here we are. All right, let's drop in. A candle for you for saying yes. Thank you. I appreciate it very much.
My pleasure.
And our angel card for the week is inspiration. So we're painting a picture of amazing people bringing this forth, and Thich Nhat Hanh is one of them. So loving kindness. No, that wasn't the one. Hang on. Which one did I? Finding our love. There we go. This is our initial reading, and I'm keeping with it. It's beautiful. Each of us learn the art of nourishing happiness and love. Oops. I'm going to bring him back up. Each of us can learn the art of nourishing happiness and love. Everything needs food to live, even love. If we don't know how to nourish our love, it withers. When we feed and support our own happiness, we are nourishing our ability to love. That's why to love means to learn the art of nourishing our happiness.
That is so perfect, because it's interesting. Years ago, I started an alternative class, an elective class at Van Nuys Middle School. And it's what they call a barrio school. It's a ghetto school that used to have some very intense activities, if you know what I mean. The happiness class really, really well, so well that one of the practices that I offered everybody, they still do 3 years later. So how many students in middle school, this is 11-year-olds to like 14-year-olds, how many students do the homework 3 years later?
Wow.
Yeah, because happiness can be generated. There's special things that we do to be able to create happiness. There's something now that is called positive psychology.
Mm-hmm.
I always keep up on the newest things from the technology to the science, on all areas of science, because if we don't do that, how can we be a peak performer? And life is changing so quickly that they say that from the last 100 years of advancement, from the Wright brothers flight and so on, well, we went to space and we did all this in 100 years, and within the next 10 years, we will advance so much, just like that 100 years did before, but in only 10 years.
I feel it. It's really moving. I want to put your website up on the bottom. So let's get your banner up.
Beautiful.
Before we start. So if you can help me so lovingly, let me see where I am here. Hang on.
You're the expert on this technology.
No, I'm not, and that's part of the process. We're learning. Www.peak performance.
No, it's successsystemsinternational.net.
Okay, success systems.
And that's plural. International.net.
International.
All spelled out.
.net. Okay, let's see if we did it. Is that it?
Well, if I have my glasses on, I'd tell you, because you're real small. I don't know how to get this on a big screen, so to speak.
How many S's in it?
3 S's in the middle.
Yeah, in the middle. Good. Okay, good. I did it. It looked a little bit like, okay, good. We've got you there, Kurt. As we start our program this morning, I just want to tell the audience that what I know of Kurt is, again, the storytelling person, but his knowledge base and his understanding of so many traditions and so many wisdom keepers and so many witnesses of, he's been a teacher, he's been a prolific person out in the field. He's lived so many different places, so he has this vast knowledge, and I'm just really excited to have you back. I hope your family is well. I know the last time we saw each other, things were looking like COVID was up, and I hope everybody made it through.
Yes, the 4 that had it all recuperated. We have 2 other people in our family, myself and another person that we didn't get it. And yeah, so inshallah.
Fantastic. Yeah. All right. Well, I'm going to give you the floor. And thank you so much. Introduce yourself. Let the audience know where we can find you, how we can support you. And Torch Health is here. If anybody's new, we are here today for the 10 million heirloom seeds to go to 1 million children. We are looking at the first time to ask for donation support for our project. You can go to this link below, actionsofimpact.com. We're asking for a $25 donation, and that can buy a lot of seeds. And so it would be really super if you'd help us with this project. Kurt would be one of these teachers going around the world and helping us with curriculum. We have so many great teachers that will come and teach children worldwide, globally, in Torch Academy, and that's what we're building. And kids need to put hands-on, and they need hands-on projects, and I think Kurt will tell us even more about that. But go ahead, Kurt. Thank you so much.
I'll start off with one interesting study that was done over a long period of time. They tested for IQ all these 5-year-olds, hundreds and hundreds of 5-year-olds. They found out that 90% or 92%, somewhere above 90%, were geniuses. Out of all of them, that many. And 5 years later, they tested them again. And then 5 years later, they tested them again at the age of 15. 5 years later, they tested them again. At the end of that time period, when the people were adults, they had reversed it.
Yeah.
Reversed it. They had gone down because of the form of education that we have. The form of education that we have approaches the left brain.
Yes.
We, as real educators who work at not only the whole brain, but the whole body, mind, spirit, and environment. Mm-hmm. Because our environment is all part of us. It makes us, if we don't have fresh, good water, if we don't have good air, we cannot optimize our life. We will get sicker, we will be sadder, and so on and so forth. When we look at life as a whole, as David Bohm mentions in his, there was a beautiful documentary on David Bohm. It's called Infinite Potential. See it on YouTube, or anywhere you can get it. It's fantastic. And it gives you a deeper understanding from the physics point of view. Because David Bohm was a physicist that was like Einstein's son, so to speak. Einstein loved him. He said he's the best, and he's like his heir. is what Einstein said.
Oh, really? What's the name of the book?
It's a documentary called Infinite Potential.
Infinite Potential. Fantastic. I'm so
Yeah.
excited. I got to go to Fermilab with a patient, and I spent a lot of time in Einstein, where he created the bomb, and I really studied him. And this was in my early 30s. I took a cancer patient there for neutron therapy. And it was one of the most intense moments for me, because she went in a room and she got locked in a chair, just like almost like an electric chair, and the whole room went down, and the synchrotron, the matter machine, went around, and she got, neutron therapy for her salivary cancer. And it was a really powerful experience. We went there for 7 weeks.
Wow.
And I fly back and forth to Chicago. And, it was a really, by the second week, she didn't want natural foods. She just wanted milkshakes. And I said, okay, I surrender. But it was an intense journey for me. But the doctors kept saying, let's go to dinner. They wanted to know what I knew. And it was very simple, because I'd been teaching natural foods, and I was saying, the electrons in our body and the neutron, you have to look at the kinetic relationship between health and nature, and I was telling them, all these things. We'd go to dinner, and I said, miso makes those electrons work. And, all these different foods make them snap, the only way our electrons are going to work if they snap,
Definitely. And when we like nutrition,
Yeah.
Gabriel Cousins, Dr. Gabriel Cousins,
Yeah.
a friend of mine, he's probably one of the best nutritionists in the world.
Oh,
A number of books out. He's got a 21-day diabetes cure. And when you see the blood count at the start and so on at the end, I mean, it's amazing. But that's all in natural, what you eat and how you eat it too. It's
Right.
very important in how you approach food. For instance, always stop before you eat, get centered or meditate or pray, and then eat. Because if you're taking what's happened in the day into your food, it may not be very good for you, because the vibrations that you have really resonate into the food and affects them. There's been studies done with things like water. When you have water, you can actually see the structure of the water change when you just pray good things into it. Or if people are angry, they play, let's say, rock and roll music, intense sort of crazy music, so to speak, as opposed to classical music. The water crystalline structure in the rock and roll music looks like somebody took a shotgun to a beautiful crystal. Whereas with the good music, I can't say good because I love rock and roll, but
I'm with you.
the classical music.
We gotta get some rock and roll music on this morning for me. I need to jump up.
The colors look like crystals, just so beautiful, like a mandala kind of a thing.
Beautiful.
It's magical.
Who do you like for, fractals has been in a conversation all week. It's really beautiful. And Mark Lund was on, and he gave an amazing talk on fractals and how our universe is coming down from the Mayan tradition, but really from the Tao tradition. And it was beautiful talk. So that was 2 days ago, but I highly recommend that. It's really worth watching. And I just am excited to know that you love to sing or pray before your food, because I have had people turn off everything. Turn off your music, turn off everything. Just have an honoring of your body and your physical form, because food is key for our beingness, and I have to say, the work that I've done in the last 12 years, I've been kind of off running, and because I've just been a busy mom, and I have done this for the last 12 weeks. I've slowed back down. I've slowed, really since COVID almost. I've just slowed way back down, and it's been so nourishing, and said, I'm not going to do this anymore. I can't do the push, and it's really helped my health a lot. So I appreciate it.
That's an interesting point, because so many people are listening to the news and they think it's a horrible thing. The disease is. The lockdown can be treated as a gestation period. like you're pregnant, or like the butterfly, the chrysalis. Now, just imagine humanity is this caterpillar that's been devouring so much throughout its entire life. The planet is devoured. Then now we go into this space where we have to come inside. Although I want to point out one thing, more of the forests of the world have been destroyed in this lockdown time than any other time in history. So that has not stopped the devouring. But imagine this chrysalis, and we, the people who are looking on the bright side of life, looking to do things that will support life and regenerate life, not just maybe stop global warming, but to reverse it, like the Drawdown book. And people can choose ways to be able to do what you can to draw down the carbons. I just listened to Tree Sisters, Claire Dubois. She's a dear, dear person. And it was outstanding presentation. I can put a link into her talk if you'd like.
Yeah, please. We'll put it in.
It was just done on Friday.
I know her, and I've met so many people over the years, but thank you for reminding about Tree Sisters. They're amazing.
Yeah. And Humanity Rising is a link that look back on any of their YouTube presentations, because they give ideas about donut economics, which is way different kind of economics than most people have ever heard of, because it's only started. The woman who designed it is a person that did a TED Talk in 2014 or 2016 on donut economics. You can look it up on TED.com. And you'll find this is all part of, imagine this, all of what I'm talking about is part of the Peace Department.
Yeah.
The people listening to this are the people of the Peace Department. It is not a government official thing right now. It will become that in time, but it's starting with the people, and it's going to stay with the people. It's going to stay in the control of the people. It's not going to be top-down type of a thing, because we're creating a new society. Donut economics focuses on the happiness of the people working in the company, the people living around the company, the people affected by the company, and the environment. All of that taken into account allows a company to thrive. They actually do great. I have a friend, he's living with us. This man designed a democratic way to be able to run a company of Pampers. This one factory in Fresno, California. In Fresno, California, he got them to run totally democratically. However, when a person who's like a VP of the headquarters phones, and he talks to what he found out after is a line worker, because the line worker is like the president, because he runs the place and so on and so forth. And he talks to him, and then this VP found out who he was talking with, and he thought, "Oh, this isn't going to happen," and so they stopped it, even though it outproduced the other places. Insanity, just because of the power thing.
Yeah.
So we changed the locus, because every single. It's all my relations. I'll bring in the Native American religion.
For sure.
And,
I'm going to let you have the stage.
okay, because I can ramble all the time.
I love it. I love every part of it. If you want me to stay on, I will, but I would love you to have the stage.
But I'll ramble because I'm a tangentialist. I go on tangents, but it's like listening to Bucky Fuller or Joseph Chilton Pierce.
There you go.
We can talk 6 hours straight, and they'll bring in this little aspect here and this one here, but all the while they're weaving a beautiful, beautiful tapestry, Enjoy
your tapestry.
Like the one behind me, they're from Africa.
Right there, we're building the tapestry. There we go. Inspiration. You are an inspiring person. Okay, enjoy Kurt, everyone. Here we are.
So getting to this aspect of the Peace Department, just smiling helps peace. Laughing helps peace. Just helping a little person give some paisa, some coins to somebody who's begging on the street. If they use it, God gave you free will. If they use it for drinking, like most people think, which is not true, if they do use it for that, it's their choice. But they still need some care. That little bit will not harden your heart. That's a Jewish proverb. If you don't give, your heart sort of hardens more. And so those simple little things that we can do, little random acts of kindness, help to create peace. Everybody's action. When you look at the Native American tradition, they have a saying, Omatakwayasan, which means all our relations, because everything around us is related to us. Without having the insects, things like mosquitoes, what feeds on mosquitoes? What feeds on them? What feeds on them? When we take one element of God's creation out because we think, I'm going to be Monsanto and I'll get rich poisoning the planet. Well, what happens? We get poisoned because the food is poisoned, the air is poisoned, the insects die, and the crawlers die, like the lizards and the things that feed on the lizards, like the birds and so on. When I was young, 94,000 years ago, we saw flocks of birds filling the sky every fall, every spring. They were either going home or coming from them to feed. It was the season. Now you may see flocks of 10 or 20, maybe, if you're lucky. When was the last time you've heard a lot of birds chirping? I live in a suburb of Los Angeles. I could throw a rock and hit an orange orchard with the rock. We had fresh well water. Now the well water is polluted because of all the poisons that we put on the planet. It seeps into the soil. When we treat Mother Nature as our mother, you treat mothers with respect, then we will live in a great place. So the Department of Peace takes the environment into account. Then the branch of the Department of Peace is the branch of education. When we take simple teachings of students as a holistic approach, we get them to play, to have fun, because play gets people to learn a lot, especially interpersonal skills. I helped design the most outstanding physical education program in the state of California for middle schools. It was all about fit for life, strengthening character, and having fun. Those three things. We developed the program to have trust falls at the end of the 3 years to show that the kids could trust each other. It's amazing what you can do instead of making kids not be geniuses like the old way of education, and you train them also in character. There's one program, and this is the most outstanding character development program I found. If you want to send me an email through successsystemsinternational.net, send me an email, ask me about the character development, ask me about the Department of Peace, ask me about anything that I bring up in this talk. David Bohm's documentary, Infinite Potentials, whatever. Email me through that, and I will get that to you. Just ask and you shall receive. That's one of the world scriptures. I'm very much into interfaith, because without the spirit involved, we won't treat people with respect and love. And everybody is God's child. Everything is God's child, because God created it. Also, it is his creation. It's not ours to devour. We get to be able to know, love, and serve God in every thought, word, and deed. That is my simple prayer every morning before I get out of bed. When you focus on what you want, you more likely get it. Here's another interesting thing. How many people here listening to this call, how many of you have been taught how to concentrate? How many of you have been taught how to pay attention? Oh, how much is it? In school, we demand people to do things we've never taught them. In peak performance practices for academics or sports, I taught teachers in Los Angeles School District for salary point classes. It's a professional development class, peak performance for academics and sports. I gave them how to be able to teach concentration a number of ways, from the Karate Kid concentration technique to many ways for concentration. Then I taught a simple breathing practice. Breathe in as you go up, breathe out as you come down. And you go all the way across the fingers, breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, breathing out. And you do this a few times. Pay attention to the space between your breath. And I taught that to one class. And the week later, a kindergarten teacher, a teacher who taught 5-year-olds to maybe 6-year-olds, she came back, she says, the kids love it. They call it roller coaster fingers. So in the book, Winning Ways for Living, you can read how to do that, why it works. I also have a YouTube 3-week little sort of course on the breath practice. And you can look that up or actually email me and I'll send you that link to it. It's amazing what we can do in opening up people's minds. This little practice here, the roller coaster fingers, it's a psychosomatic, spiritual practice to calm the mind. That means concentration. When the mind is calm, you get to have soft ears, as they say in the Native American tradition. Soft ears is really listening ears. So right now, I want you to put your hand like this, right up, like to the screen. Just do this right now. And I want you to be able to feel connected with all of us, not just me. Because all the people watching this, no matter what time, no matter where, no matter when at all, are connecting. This is a subtle connection. When we calm down and we pay attention to the breath and we see that we are letting ourselves get focused, we are connected. And we open the heart. The heart has more communication to the brain than the brain has with the heart. The heart resonates so powerfully. The field of its resonance is huge compared to the simple brain's resonance. They do studies scientifically that shows such things. We are more than we think we are. Imagine this. If we are God's children, and he said, do these things, we get to do those things. Miracles can be created. They can't be created if you don't experiment. Here's another little example. Pierre Pradervan, who's a great soul in Switzerland, he wrote a book called The Gentle Art of Blessing. And it tells a story, and you can see on Pierre Pradervan, The Gentle Art of Blessing on YouTube also. There's short videos on it. But he describes walking down the streets of Geneva. And he started a practice of blessing people. He would look at a person passing by and he would say, inwardly, he would say, blessings of light and love, or this person maybe blessings of health and wealth, or whatever came to him. He slowly but surely increased the amount of times he did it. And one time he's walking by and he sees a person sitting, looks, peaceful, but he gently said, whatever his prayer was, and the guy jumps up and knocks him out. He flies back. He's out for like, who knows, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. When he comes to, he blesses the guy again, even though the guy's not there. And he goes home thinking he's going to have what they call a shiner, a black eye. He didn't have a black eye. Why? Because of that incredible power of blessing. I got to teach a program at the United Nations on stress management. I also gave a program at Oxford Medical School. Why? Well, in 1977, I was on a hijacked airplane. They had automatic weapons, hand grenades, plastic explosives. My mind was crazy for about 45 minutes. Then I got to be able to calm it down. I used a practice I had learned from a master of Siddha meditation. I got into the deepest state of meditation on the plane. When I got off first, 3 days later, I was back at Crenshaw High School teaching government class. I failed this one boy, and I'm standing outside the class during passing periods, so people are walking to their next class and so on. And this boy comes up to me because he will not graduate for not being able to pass government. And he pulls out a gun, and he's 5 feet away from me. And I calmly but firmly did an Obi-Wan Kenobi, and that movie wasn't out yet. I calmly and firmly said, "Give me the gun." He gave me the gun. I think the reason why is because he had never seen anybody do that when he pulled a gun on him. He gave me the gun. I called the security man. He took the gun and the boy away. I went back in my class and taught because it was over. I taught my class. Other teachers who had seen this were so upset with it, just seeing it. They had to go into the lounge and chill out. Their class did what they wanted to do. They sat and talked, did what they wanted to do. I was teaching. The teachers found out about that and asked me to teach them how to de-stress. I taught them a meditation practice. And then I developed meditation as well as other things to do to manage stress. And I ended up doing things all over Southern California, and I got invited to the United Nations to give a program. I've given programs all over the world on stress, as well as peak performance practices. Now, we have an opportunity to transform the world. The people transform the world. If there's peace everywhere, though, and you're not peaceful, what good does it do you? So we get to be peaceful by doing prayer, meditation, good works, like what they call in India karma yoga, selfless service, volunteer your time, stock places that give food to people, do things that will uplift humanity. Our neighborhood is having a meeting this afternoon because somebody broke into somebody's house and stole things. We've had fires in our neighborhood before. What are we going to do to make sure that we have a better neighborhood watch so the neighbors take care of each other? This was neighbors who were new to us, so they just moved in and they're actually building their house. We get to be able to help each other. If they need food, we give them food. Same thing in the emergency with lights, like we had lights go out here because of the threat of fire. We help people in our neighborhood get food or anything that they need. We get to do this because in every single religion that there is that I know, there is only one real rule, and that's the golden rule. Jesus gave 2 rules. There's 10 commandments in that book, in the Old Testament, in the Jewish Bible. There's 2 rules by Jesus. He said, love God above all else and treat each other like you would treat yourself, basically, is the golden rule. When we do that, we're living in heaven. My teacher, Swami Muktananda, said, see God in each other and know that God dwells within you as you. When we do that, and I'm saying we, because we affect each other when we do that, our vibes change. Because like some people were old enough to be hippies, and they would say, oh, you're cool, man. You got good vibes. And physics proves this. Physics proves it. I went to a meeting once. Betty Bethards was the presenter. She did a lot of dream work. She was a psychologist and did dream work. And there was about 400 people in the gathering. And she decides to take these dowsing rods, and she says, would you stand up, sir? Way across the room. Says, stand up, and I want to see where your energy field is. So she walks toward him with the dowsing rods pointed straight forward. They're just sitting in her hand, and they're just pointing straight forward. And she says, I see from where she was at the start, I see that your energy field's about 3 feet away from you. And she walks toward this person, and when she gets near 3 feet or so, they start to part. Then she turns around. She just turns around and goes all the way back. She says, holy cow, it's maybe about 10 feet from me now. And she walks with those dowsing rods facing straight forward. And they start to part about 10 or 15 feet from her. Why? She uplifted the person's energy. She puffed the energies of that person's up. She, what I call, zipped his energy up. Well, I'm not going to tell you how it works right now, because that's only a simple little thing. But never leave people's energy down. Keep people's energy up. Lift people's energy. You are a representation of God on this planet. When we take that really into account, the planet changes. It's like the little kid walking on the beach, and he sees this little sand crab trying to get back to the ocean, and he can't. There's thousands of them, and they're stranded, and he starts to pick them up and throw them out to the sea. And somebody walks up, he says, what are you doing? You can't get them all. He says, no, but I can get some, and they're happy. We do what we can with what we have. That's also a very stoic understanding. And I love Stoicism. One of my 3 majors in college was classics. Classics was the classical literature of the West. I learned about the classical literature of the East later. Thank God. But this Stoicism was epitomized by Marcus Aurelius. He wrote a book called Meditations. And in that book, he describes Stoicism so well. He led Rome as the emperor of Rome during the pandemic. They had 16 or 18-year pandemic in Rome. Thousands and thousands and thousands of people are dying in the streets. He's using his wealth to help the people. Some senators were not using their wealth. They were protecting themselves. They were doing all they could for themselves. They were like the cancer cell. The cancer cell only thinks about itself. Healthy cells in the human body, this is how we learn from biology. Healthy cells in the human body, what do? If there's a cell next to it that isn't healthy, they help it. They help it. And that cell will probably do a similar thing for it because it got healthy. and it spreads. We are like that chrysalis where the intentional cells is what I call them. Imaginal cells is what they're really called. But I call them intentional cells. When we have the intention for the Department of Peace to spread all over the world through the people and create the whole world as a peaceful entity in all the ways we can, it happens because you are an intentional cell. You are an imaginal cell. And when we have enough imaginal cells because we spread this idea, we get stronger and stronger because of that. We encourage each other. And when you have encouragement, you get stronger. You feel better. Your blood sugar's up. Your neuroendorphins are produced. You produce so much better. And the world sees a butterfly fly out of this chrysalis. And the butterfly is this peaceful world that has more beauty, more unity, more collaboration. The butterfly collaborates with the flowers. Right? When we collaborate, when we contribute, when we are doing things like communication instead of debate. Debate only means you're trying to convince people. We don't need to debate anymore. We get to communicate using our soft ears to the heart of the person we're speaking with. When we connect and stay connected to the heart, you feel the difference when I'm using my right brain and left brain. The left brain is giving you information. It's in formation. It's forming. The heart is resonating with the truth of the information. So we don't have very much time left. I'm going to have to get off pretty soon. But I love you, and anybody who wants to connect with me can do it through successsystemsinternational.net. Also, if you want a lot of the practices that will get you to be all you can be without having to join the army, and you to be one of those imaginal cells, even more than you are now, Winning Ways for Living is a book that has a lot of them. Body, mind, spirit, emotions all get to be enhanced in our life. Without doing this, without enhancing it all, we can get ill. Why is it that I didn't get COVID when 4 out of the 6 people living in my house did? Well, we're eating incredible food. We're supplementing our diet. Let me tell you something about the power of nutrition too, a little bit more. I was standing in the Olympic Village because I was training athletes in sports psychology in the '88 Olympics. I had just presented at the Olympic Scientific Congress on fitness for the 21st century. And it was rated the best presentation of the whole conference. And I was only a junior high school teacher at that time. And most of them are sports scientists and people who are academicians and so on. But I'm in the village and I'm standing waiting in line to get food. Behind me is a man who's about 6'5" and about 250 pounds. I look back, I say, "You look pretty strong." He says, "I am." I said, "What do you do?" He says, "I'm a rower." So he rows a boat. And so he's really strong upper body. I said, "Do you mind if I test your strength?" He says, "What are you going to do?" I said, "Well, I want you to put your strong arm out to the side and put your hand at your thymus." And he puts his hand at his thymus, his arm out his side. "I'm going to put 3 fingers on your arm and I'm going to push down. Don't let me push down." He was so strong that literally I was hanging on his arm. And he said, "What are you going to do now?" And I said, "Okay, let me do this." I grabbed a packet of sugar like you'd put in coffee or tea. I said, "Hold it at your thymus, put your strong arm out, be strong, and I'm going to do this again." And his arm went down as fast as his mouth. And I said, let me take that away. That's not good for you." And I said, "Okay, Here's a packet of honey. Hold that there. Just sort of ask if this is good for you and stay strong. And he stayed strong. I could hang on his arm again. I put that down. I said, okay, now tell me you're weak, but stay strong. He holds his arm out. He gets weak again. I said, okay, say the reverse. He holds his arm out. He stayed strong. Then I did something I'd never done. I did a lie detector test. I said, okay, tell me your mother's name or lie to me. He held his arm out. He lied twice because his arm got weak. Third time, it stayed strong because I said, that's your mother's name. And it was his mother's name. That's called muscle testing. You can look in a book called Your Body Doesn't Lie to learn about it. There's probably many more books than this, but this was written in the 80s or 70s. And it's a simple test for nutrition, for all kinds of things. And there's other ways to do this muscle testing too. I'm so happy that we got to be together. And the most important thing about being together is really allowing the hearts to resonate. We can go like this too. This is a very good practice to manage stress. And we can be caressing ourselves and feeling that release of any tensions. Yeah, you can hug yourself too and caress yourself. Simple things that we can do that will help the world be even better. There's a great practice that Ulf Sandström teaches. It's called traumatic tapping. Look up Ulf, ULF, Sandström. And if you want, send me a request for this, traumatic tapping, and I can send you his little handout that he gives for tapping for trauma. This man does things in Rwanda for people affected by the genocide. He did things for the Congolese children that went off to war and are so traumatized. But by the time he leaves them, they're dancing and singing. This works because it works on your subtle body. It works on your acupuncture system, the meridians and so on. It's powerful. There's so much that we have to give. When you are ready to receive, you open your hands up, you give. Give to others, help others, and love others. Love, serve, and remember. Thank you so much, and I love you.
Very cool.
This is how people who are deaf clap. So if you know deaf people, go like this. Or anybody, get them clapping after music for like classical music. It's crazy. It ruins the vibes.
Yeah.
When you go like this, it intensifies the vibes. Think about that. Bring that into if you ever go to a concert again, especially like a nice, beautiful philharmonic concert, go like this instead and turn people onto that idea. Okay, cheers. Thank you.
Just thank you.
I have another podcast to get on, so I have to go. Thank you.
Okay. Have a beautiful day.
God bless.
God bless. Thank you. There we are. Kurt Kruger consciousness. He brings us back to that physical form. He brings us back to that beauty and the bounty that we are. He brings us back to that present. He brings us back to the consciousness of love. So as we move into this next hour, it's a time to reflect. It's the third Sunday of Advent. I believe it's the 5th day of candles in the Hanukkah. I believe it's the deeper parts of the Mayan tradition. It's the deeper sense of how we open ourselves to the next chapters. It's the deeper sense of quality of life